everyone, my name's Cece. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm talking about the best books that I read and the worst books that I read in 2021. So let's just get into it. I'm not really going in any order. I'm kind of just looking at the list of books that I read and talking about them as they come up. So yeah, I'm gonna start off with the best books that I read. First one that I see on here is Daughter of Smoke and Bone by Laini Taylor. This is a young adult fantasy, urban fantasy. It's really odd. It's like a romance and it's about war. Yeah, I thought this was really great actually. It was really weird and odd, and in the first half I was really confused, but then in the second half I thought that it all came together really beautifully, and on top of that I thought Laini Taylor's writing was just really pretty. I really recommend that one if you're into YA fantasy. I just thought it was really different than what I am used to reading. I think it's a strong series overall, but the second and third books I didn't think were as good as the first one. The first one was really solid and I would reread that. My cat keeps shaking the tripod. Gomez, please stop being a menace, please. The second book that I see here is The Stars and the Blackness Between Them by, I don't know how to pronounce this author's name. So this is a young adult contemporary kind of magical realism, and you follow two teenage girls. One is from the US and then one is from the Caribbean, and the one from the Caribbean gets sent to the United States to live with her dad, and her dad is family friends with the other girls, the other main characters' parents, so that is how they know each other. And this book is just about their friendship and relationship and both of their lives. This was hands down the best book that I read all year, and like instantly from the moment I started it I was just like, this is one of my favorite books of all time. I don't know, like it just made me think so many things and feel so many things, and the writing was amazing and the characters were just wow. So yes, read that one. The next few books I'm going to talk about all together because it is a series, and it is The Remnant Chronicles by Mary E. Pearson. So this is a young adult fantasy about a princess who is arranged to be married to this prince that she's never met. She doesn't want to marry him, so she decides to run away and be a peasant, and the prince who she was supposed to marry goes looking for her, as well as an assassin sent to kill her, and the reader doesn't know who is who. So I feel like that's like the main draw of the first book. As the series goes on, it's a lot more about like politics and war and stuff like that. There is a romance like at the center of it, so it is a fantasy romance, but I think just all three books were so well done, and I feel like it wrapped up really nicely. It was a really satisfying ending for me. I enjoyed the entire series, and I just feel like, I don't know, I don't really like fantasy romance because I feel like a lot of the times authors will focus more on the romance than the actual plot, and then the plot usually just is not really that strong, which I dislike. So yeah, I feel like this one, it was just a really good balance of both, and it was just perfect for me. The next two books I'm also going to talk about at the same time, even though they're not a part of a series, but it is The Song of Achilles and Circe by Madeline Miller. These books are super popular. Everybody loves them. I love them. I thought they were really great. I love Greek mythology. So yeah, I thought those were really beautiful and heartbreaking. I loved Circe more than The Song of Achilles. Well, not that I like loved it more. I guess I like Circe more as a character. The next one is Raybearer by Jordan E. Fleckle, and this is also a YA fantasy, but it is about a girl who the whole reason she exists is to complete this task for her mother, where she is supposed to try and become a part of the prince's like imperial council. And in order to do that, you have to have a really special connection with the prince, and he has to love whoever he is admitting onto his council, and that person has to love him back. So she basically has to get the prince to love her, and then she has to kill him because that is what her mother wants, and because of magic she has to complete this task. I just thought this series this duology was really great and unique, and like, I don't know, it was just good. There's not really much else that I can say about it. if I were ranking this list, I think this would be number 2, and it is Lost Boy by Christina Henry. This is a Peter Pan retelling where you follow Captain Hook as a boy, and he is the first lost boy. I loved everything about this too. I feel like the author really captured the vibes of Neverland. It is a horror, but I didn't find it very scary, but I just thought it was so interesting. And I mean, Peter Pan is just a character that you have to hate. I mean, like, I don't know, you just have to hate him. He kind of sucks, just in general. And I just feel like the author really captured that well, and I was just very, very invested in Captain Hook's story. So I thought it was so good. I would reread that. The last book would be We Are Not Free by Tracy Chee. This is a young adult historical fiction about the Japanese internment camps, incarceration camps that took place in the time of World War II. This book was extremely well written. It's told from the point of view of 15 different teenagers, I think, and that's a lot, and I feel like some people might think that's too much, but I feel like the author just did it really well. I think the story just flowed so nicely, and the way that she did it, it just made sense, and like you really just felt for all of the characters. So I think that's a testament to the author, because she made me at least like feel for all of these different people and made all of these different characters real. And I think that's because, you know, they were real people. This story was definitely based off of true events, and yeah, I just think that this is one that everyone should read because it's just really important and educational, and I really loved it. Now I'm going to talk about the worst books, and some of these might be more like, they weren't necessarily bad, but more disappointing. Most of them, I think they were bad. There's not really any other way to put it. Yeah, I'm sorry if one of the books that you loved was on here. Please don't hate me. Let's see. Let's go through. Okay, the first one I see is The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. So, this is one of the ones that I don't think was bad, but it was disappointing because I just really disagreed with one thing in the end. It made me uncomfortable, and I really didn't like it, and I thought that it was unnecessary, and it just put a bad taste in my mouth. I understand how not everybody will feel the same way, and that's totally fine, makes a lot of sense. I totally get it. If other people don't have a problem with what happened in the end, then that's fine, but for some reason it just really bothered me, and I couldn't get past it, and honestly it turned me off to all Grady Hendrix books. Yeah. Yep. So there's that. I just thought it was a little odd. What I'm going to talk about is one that I'm very passionate about, and it is A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. Yes, this is one of the worst books. This is the worst book that Sarah J. Maas has put out. I'm so sorry if you love this. I know a lot of people love this book, and okay, while I read it, I had a blast. I enjoyed most of it. I did think it was a little bit boring at times. It didn't need to be as long as it was. But then like when I finished it and I actually thought about it, and I was like, that was kind of dumb. Where was the plot? Where was it? It was nowhere. It was like, there was 2 seconds of plot. It was so rushed at the end. All the plot happened in the last 100 pages of an 800-page book, and it was so rushed. I just thought that of all of Sarah J. Maas's books, this one was the one that was the most poorly written, because there was just no plot at all. There wasn't. It's like she threw it out the window. She doesn't care about the plot anymore. It's literally just about actors fucking. That's what it is. And it's like, I don't know, like, I really loved the first series. Well, I really loved A Court of Mist and Fury, and I thought A Court of Thorns and Roses was good. I didn't think it was bad. And A Court of Wings and Ruin, I had some problems with the ending, but like, overall, I really enjoyed the series, and I thought that it was a pretty strong series up until the like very end. But like, I just don't know what I mean, to me, this series has absolutely no plot anymore. Like, I would literally only be reading it for the characters. And the way that the characters acted in this book some of them, it just didn't even really make any sense. So yeah, am I gonna read the next one? Probably. I will probably read it. I don't know. I'm probably not gonna like it that much. I will be entertained, but I probably won't love it. Next book, The Prison Healer. I've seen some people who also enjoy this book, so again, I'm sorry. But The Prison Healer by Lynette Noni. Okay, I was really excited about this one and I really wanted to like it. Basically, my problems were that it was a little bit boring. The main character didn't really do anything for herself. So this book is basically, I just realized that I wasn't talking about the synopsis for the worst books. Oh well, whatever. I'll start now. This book is about it's YA fantasy, and it's about a girl who has lived in this prison for like the last 10 years. She's 17 and she went to the prison with her dad when her dad got arrested for treason, I guess. He was accused of treason and then just arrested, because that's the type of fantasy world this is. Mysterious boy shows up. That's like important to the story. The main character is the healer at the prison, but not very many people like her because she has to carve like the prison symbol onto everybody's hand, and so they kind of think that she is just complacent with a lot of things just so that she isn't treated as poorly. So a lot of the other people in the prison don't like her. Anyway, this woman gets brought in. She is supposedly the rebel queen, and she is supposed to be put on trial, but she's unconscious and the main character can't do anything to heal her, so she volunteers in her place to participate in these 4 elemental trials, and if she wins, she gets freedom for her, the rebel queen, and this other little boy that she cares about. My biggest problem with it was that it was slow and there was no action, and also some of the plot points were just like, I don't know. I felt like the twist at the end, only didn't see it coming because I didn't feel like there was enough foreshadowing, but maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I mean, I did feel like I enjoyed it. Like, I didn't absolutely hate it, but I didn't think that it was anything special. And I didn't really think that the main character was special. I didn't think that mysterious boy love interest was special either. He was pretty bland. I liked the little boy, and I liked the morgue guy a lot. He was my favorite. Last book that I'm going to talk about, and this has got to be the worst one that I read all year, for sure. For sure the worst one that I read all year. Final Girls by Riley Sager. This book was really bad. I'm sorry if you like it, but I feel like a lot of people think that this book is not that good too. This is about a girl who survived a massacre 10 years prior, and she's really traumatized by it, and she is often grouped with these other 2 girls who survived separate massacres. All 3 of these girls survived completely different massacre occasions, but they are lumped together as the Final Girls, and that's a term that comes from like slasher movies and stuff like that. And I was gonna say that I'm into slasher movies, but I'm in Scream. Those are kind of the only ones that I've seen. So I decided to pick this book up. I listened to the audiobook. I had never read anything by Riley Sager before, but I know that a lot of people really like his books, and I know that he writes a lot of mystery thrillers. Okay. I'm just going to talk about spoilers because I feel like I can't actually explain why this book is bad without spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, I guess don't keep watching. But if you don't care, or you've already read it, then please keep watching so that I can tell you why I hated this book. First of all, the main character was just weird. I don't know, she was just really weird. Even like, if you go back and forth between like her as an adult and then her as like a 19-year-old the night that this whole massacre thing happened, and it's just like her as a teenager was just kind of like took shit from everybody, and this girl has just always been surrounded by terrible people. It seems like her mom was horrible, her husband was horrible, and her best friend in college was horrible because she was pressuring her to lose her virginity. Basically, my biggest problem with this book is that the entire time the author is trying to, like, the main character is questioning whether or not she had sex with the killer that night, because, or the whole premise is that they're out in this cabin and then this mysterious dude shows up and they're like, yeah, party with us. He's like young and he's just like blah, 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 and creepy, and then she like can't remember if she had sex with him or not, and like that's the whole point of the story, is that like she can't remember anything, but she remembers very little details, and then the author tries to make you think that maybe she killed everybody. In the end, find out, oh, okay, another detail is that she's really good friends with the cop that was there that like saved her that night. She's kept like a good relationship with him. And so in the end, you find out that the guy that they had thought had committed the crime all this time, my cat is being annoying. The guy that they thought had committed the crime this entire time actually didn't do it. He was just a normal kid who ran away from the mental health facility that he was staying at because they were mistreating people, and he was trying to get him and his friend out. My cat will not stop. Was literally just there, and because he just stumbled upon their cabin, and she did have sex with them, but turns out he wasn't the killer, right? So then it's like, okay, this girl's conscience is cleared. She's been living with this turmoil for 10 years, how she lost her virginity to the man who killed all of her friends, right? It's like really fucked up. As an adult, she somehow ends up having an affair with the cop, and then you find out that the cop was the killer. And so I just think it's weird that the author did it to her twice. Like, she made her think that she had had sex with her friend's killers for 10 years. It's like, oh no, relief, that actually didn't happen. But oh, psych, yes it did, you did it now. Like, what? I don't know. I didn't like that. It was weird. And I thought it was dumb. Those are the best and worst books that I read in the year of 2021. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to make. Tell me what your favorite or worst books were. I hope that there were none that I loved, but if they were, you could still tell me about them. I can take it. Unless it's Percy Jackson, then I cannot take it. I will have another video up soon. Bye bye.